Hey guys, all right, we are gonna work on some board art. So I went ahead and jumped ahead and got started. We are gonna make this fun summer vibes board art where you can personalize it yourself with these fun little sunglasses. I'm gonna show you how to do that. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is paint a background color for your board. I went ahead and did that so it'd be dry because we want it dry before we move to the next step. I use a sponge for this, really simple. I just took my colors, very light bit of color and some water and kind of just rubbed it across, added a little white, rubbed it across until it looked the way I wanted it. You can paint it with a brush, a solid color, you can do a different background color, whatever you want. The most important thing is before you move on with this one, you want it to dry completely. So if you want to do your background color one day and then work on another project and come back to this one the next day, it's probably your best bet, okay? So what we're gonna do is, now that we've got the background color done, we're gonna go ahead and lay our sunglasses, all right? This is a nice little template, and you've got this really cool carbon paper, and we're gonna use this to transfer these glasses onto this board. And the way you do that is you lay your paper down like this, shiny black side down, and we try not to push on it anywhere weird because we don't want to transfer that black on there anywhere we don't want it to be. But if you accidentally get it somewhere you don't want it to be, you can just paint over it, not a biggie. So once you get your glasses all lined up on your board, try to kind of put them down towards the bottom because we need to leave room up top for our words. Okay, guys? So we want to make sure we check our spacing. So we're going to kind of line it up towards the bottom here. You can even line your glasses up all the way to the bottom. Edge of the paper to the edge of the board. Works just fine. All right, so from there, you've got that down. You're going to take yourself a pencil or a pen, and all we're going to do is we are going to trace around our glasses. We're just going to trace everything. It works really good if you have a colored pencil to do this because then you can see where you've traced. All right, I'm just going for it, so trust me on this, and I'm just going to trace around all of it. All right, guys, so I've traced around everything, including the inside pieces, okay? The inside pieces of your glasses, that's going to be your focal point for this. We're going to have a lot of fun with those little inside parts of your glasses because this is going to show what you're looking at for the summer, all right? So when I pull this off, ta-da, there's our glasses. Wonderful. So what you're going to do is you are going to paint the rim of your glasses and the little earpieces here, whatever color you want. And then on the inside, you're going to draw in and paint a scene of whatever it is you're looking at. So I'm going to turn mine so I can just kind of, and I think for me, for summertime, I think camping. So I'm going to draw a mountain back, some mountains back here, and then maybe a tent. And you can't really see it, but trust me, it's there because we're going to paint it. Some trees, and I'm just going to kind of draw in my picture, maybe a nice little sunshine up here. All right, maybe over here we've got, let's see, maybe just, this is where the lake is, so maybe some more mountains up here I'm going to draw, and then there's a lake in here, and yeah, and maybe a tree, because I'm thinking camping, you can think beach, whatever you want. All right, so I went ahead and filled in some of the painting so you can see what we were talking about here. I want to show you a couple tips though. Number one is if you're going over your background color with a darker color, it's going to cover pretty well. But if you're going to use a lighter color, like here in the sun I want to use yellow, you're going to want to paint it white, all right, and let that dry before you put that yellow on. Otherwise that blue is going to show through and your sun's going to look more green. Now another thing you can do is after you get those sunglasses drawn on there, just go ahead and paint the whole middle white to start off with, and then add your design. That way you don't have to worry about filling in anything white. You're kind of just left with a nice white blank slate, just like a piece of paper. So I've got one side of my sunglasses done here, my little camping scene. I got a little tent, I got a little fire, I got some little trees. I can go up here and I can add some clouds in here, just some fun stuff, you know. So basically what you're doing is you're creating the reflection of whatever you would be seeing in your sunglasses, okay? So think about you wearing these glasses and what your ideal summer vibe looks like, all right? So that brings us to our stencil up here that we're gonna put on that says Summer Vibes. You have this really cool little stencil, and it's got this clear cover sheet on it, all right? So we're gonna take a handy dandy popsicle stick, or maybe mom or dad's credit card, and we're gonna use it just to kind of push everything down. We want everything to be pushed down really, really good, all right, guys? Really, really well. And what we're gonna do is, you have a white backing and you have a clear, and in between you have this blue, all right? We are gonna peel the white backing off, all right? But when we do that, we wanna make sure that all these little middle pieces, see these little spots right here? We wanna make sure that they stay down. So we're gonna make sure we push them really good and make sure they're in there. Because when we pull that white back off, we want them to not stick to that white back. So we're gonna pull. So see, I got a blue, I got a white, and on top of the blue, I've got this clear piece. All right, so we're gonna pull the blue up from the white, and we're gonna slowly, 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 and we're gonna make sure that none of those little middle pieces of our E's stay down on that white, okay? See how it pulled up? Perfect, that's exactly what we wanted to do. We love that. Look at it, all came off really well. All right, so then we've got this cool little stencil. All right, it's sticky like a sticker. So we're gonna figure out where we want it. We can make it perfectly straight. We can put it kitty corner. We can wherever you want. You can kind of put it over your glasses if you want a little bit, whatever you're feeling, all right? So I'm gonna do right up here across the top. Try to center it the best I can. Now, of course, we're gonna go back through and we're gonna finish painting those glasses and all that. But we're gonna step away to do that. We don't have to do that all on camera. We'll come back at the end and you'll see the finished product. Maybe you'll post your finished products for us to see too. So I'm using that popsicle stick again. I wanna push down around all those letters. Paying extra close attention to those little sections there in between the loop-de-doos. All right, because we want them to stay down now. Before we wanted them to come up, now we want them to stay down, all right? So once we've got that, then we're gonna take just our clip, can we see that way? Just our clear, and we're gonna keep the blue down, all right? We're gonna pull, if the blue starts to come up, use a little popsicle stick to hold it down. We want that sticker to stay down there, okay? Because what we're doing is we're making a stencil. We're using this sticker as a stencil. And as I pull away, I can push down with my popsicle stick like this, and it's gonna help keep everything in place, all right? If you see anything start to pop up, we wanna push it down with our popsicle stick. Because we wanna create a nice, tight seal there where those letters are. You guys see everything okay? How's it looking, Nevada?
Looking pretty good.
All right. I can't see what you guys see, so from my angle, I can see what's going on, but make sure you can see what's going on.
And normally we use fun video magic, but we really want to make sure if any of these pop up, you guys see what we're talking about.
And see how the stencil right here, you can see how it's bubbling? We want to just make sure that our whole stencil doesn't come up. So we want to just make sure all around those letters is down nice and tight, nice and tight, nice and tight. Little bubbles there, we're going to push them down. All right. Looks like we're doing pretty good. Excellent. All right, it's all down. Now this little guy is a sticker too, and we're gonna hold on to it because we're gonna use it for our other project, all right? So keep this someplace safe. You can even actually take that white backing that we pulled off and we can stick it down there like that because we're gonna use it again later, all right? So once you've got your stencil down, and we're gonna make sure we rub it, make sure those letters are down, then we are gonna take our sponge. You know how we love sponges. Always got the sponges. And I think I am going to, I think I'm gonna make it kind of a sunset. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use some white because remember, we wanna lay some white down so we get that blue covered because that's what I've got, background is blue. Yours might be a light color. But for what I wanna do, I want to make sure that I start off with some white, okay? So there's not a lot of paint on there, guys. It's just a little bit, all right? It's better to do a little bit of paint and then let it dry and do a little bit more on top of that, okay? And we're just gonna kind of layer. So I'm just pouncing up and down. I'm not going back and forth. We wanna pounce up and down because that way we don't push any paint underneath those letters. We want it just to be in those holes, all right? So I'm just pouncing and pouncing and pouncing. All right, so I've got some white laid down. Remember, I'm just doing that because I want to cover up some of that blue, because I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna make my summer vibes kind of like a sunset, right? So I'm gonna start with a little bit of yellow. Should it go yellow, orange, red, or red at the top?
Yellow, orange, red, because
Okay.
it's getting darker as the day is going on.
So is the darker color up top or the bottom?
Well, because the sun is going down, so the
it's
brighter at the bottom.
All right. So it takes a minute, all right? So what I'm going to do to create that look is I'm just going to go towards the bottom of my letters. And I'm going to go through with some yellow. Okay. And I'm using the same sponge that I used on with my white. No big deal. All right, so I got my yellow down. Now with the same sponge, I'm going to pick up some yellow, and I'm just going to kind of overlap a little bit.
That's
Dab, dab,
orange,
dab,
you
dab.
silly lady.
What did I say?
You're gonna pick up some yellow.
Oh, I meant some orange. Sorry. Silly, silly, silly. Silly, silly, silly. So I'm going to go in the middle with the orange. And then I'm going to pick up some red. I'm going to do that up here to the top. Like that. And then once I get that all laid down like that, I'm going to take my clean part of my sponge and I'm going to kind of just pounce over the whole thing. Just kind of blending a little bit. All right, so it just kind of edges into each other. All those colors kind of edge into each other. Just like that. Once I get my colors down, then is the fun part. We're gonna take this blue and we're just gonna start to peel it up. And it's okay if this rips, guys, because we do not need this blue anymore. We are just gonna, oh, look at how cute that is. It's a good idea to let it dry. I kind of jumped the gun, I was excited. And the only reason you really want to let it dry is because you don't want to accidentally drag it with a wet paint on it. And you got to make sure you pull out all the little pieces. And remember, you got these little middle pieces, and you can use the edge of a paintbrush or a pen or something to pull that up. All right, so I've done a little bit more work on it. As you can see, I went ahead and did my other little scene. You could just do a field of flowers, whatever you feel like, but you're gonna remember this is what the reflection is of the glasses. So picture yourself looking through these glasses. What do you see? That's what that's gonna be. All right. And then last thing I wanted to show you is, okay, I went ahead and went around my glasses with a black line. You can also use the same color as you did your glasses, but maybe a little bit a shade darker. That works really well as well. Right here on our letters, I've got most of those little parts pulled out. I've got this little sharp tool, but you can use a pin or just something, a toothpick, to do this. Right here I've got another one, so I'm just gonna reach in there and I'm gonna pull that puppy out. And I knew it was gonna give me a hard time when you guys are watching me. So you're just gonna grab it and pull it out, guys. And you're gonna do that for any of these little areas that little stencil stayed behind. All those little loop-de-loops, all right? And then you got a nice little sign. Your guys' sign's gonna come with some holes there in the top so that you can make it a hanging sign. And then you got a nice summer vibes.